Hello, peachies! Welcome back to Dear Peachy. Nose contouring is all about playing with light and shadow to shape the way your nose appears. By carefully placing darker and lighter tones, you can recreate how light naturally hits an ideal nose shape, making it look slimmer, more defined, and beautifully three-dimensional. In today's video, we're bringing you the most complete and in-depth tutorial on nose contouring. We'll cover everything you need to know, from understanding contour and highlight shades and how to choose the right tones for your skin, to mastering the fundamental theory behind light and shadow, and breaking down how to contour every part of your nose step by step. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how to contour with purpose. No more random lines along your nose or hiding your natural beauty. Instead, you'll learn how to enhance it with precision and objective. Let's start with the basic glossary of the nose. It's important to know exactly which parts we're talking about before diving into the tutorial. Starting from the top, we have the nose root, which sits between the brows and connects to the eye socket area. Moving down, the nose bridge is where your nose begins to lift and leads all the way to the tip. The sides of the tip are known as the nose wings or nosolar. And finally, the area surrounding the base of the nose is called the nasal base. There is really no such thing as the best nose shape. Every nose has its own unique beauty that adds character to your face. The purpose of nose contouring isn't to change your features, but to bring out better definition, add depth, and restore balance within your overall facial structure. Before we get started, it's important to understand the golden rule of facial proportions, so you know what we're working toward. Ideally, the width of your nose should align with the distance between the inner corners of your eyes. Meanwhile, the middle third of the face, from the arch of the brows down to the tip of the nose, should be roughly equal to the upper and lower thirds of the face. If your proportions slightly differ from this, contouring can help visually restore that sense of balance and harmony. When it comes to contour shades, they generally fall into three undertone categories: warm, cool, and sometimes neutral. Within each undertone, the shades can vary in depth, from lighter to darker to match different skin tones. For cool undertones, you'll typically find shades like beige taupe or gray-brown. Beige taupe tones work beautifully on fairer, cool skin and are ideal for contouring areas like the nose and chin. Gray-brown shades, on the other hand, suit deeper, cool skin tones or even fair, warm skin tones and are often used for both nose and jawline contouring. For warm undertones, you'll see more bronzy brown shades. These are perfect for tan or warmer complexions and are usually applied just for the nose contour to add warmth and structure. Sometimes, you may also come across reddish-brown tones, which complement deeper warm or neutral skin tones, giving a natural sun-kissed dimension to the contour. Choosing the right products also makes a huge difference. Cream and liquid formulas usually have richer pigmentation and show up more prominently on the skin, giving a stronger, more defined effect. Powder products, on the other hand, are lighter and easier to blend, creating a softer, more natural finish. For highlighting, matte highlighters work best when you want a subtle and structured look, while pearlescent highlighters add a gentle, natural-looking glow. Just be careful to avoid chunky glitter or overly large shimmer particles. They can break the illusion of smooth light and shadow, making the contour look less refined. Nose contouring is essentially sculpting with makeup. It's all about reshaping what the eye sees through light and shadow. The core idea is simple. Shadows create depth, while highlights bring features forward. When you apply contour, the shaded areas appear more recessed, making the nose look slimmer and more defined. For instance, shading along the sides of the bridge can make the nose appear narrower and straighter. Adding shadow just beneath the tip helps it look smaller, and softly contouring the edges of the nose wings can visually reduce their width. On the other hand, highlighting does the opposite. It makes areas appear raised, fuller, and more pronounced. Adding brightness along the center of the bridge draws attention to the highest point of the nose. A touch on the tip makes it look lifted, and placing highlight in the triangle region between your brows creates a seamless connection between the forehead and the bridge. The key to a natural-looking contour lies in the transitions. Blending your shadows and highlights into a seamless gradient helps avoid harsh lines and keeps everything soft and balanced. Work with light layers. Apply a small amount of product, blend it out, and gradually build it up until you achieve a refined, natural-looking shape. At every part of the nose, both light and shadow work together to sculpt its shape. Let's start with the nose root. Adding shadow along the nose root makes it look deeper and gives the bridge more definition. The placement of these shadows can also adjust how long or short your nose appears. If you have a longer nose proportion, placing the contour slightly lower, away from the brows, can visually shorten it. While for a shorter nose, placing them higher, closer to the brows, helps to lengthen it. This technique can also subtly influence the way your eye spacing appears. If you have wide-set eyes, blending out the contour lines a little wider can create the illusion that your eyes are nearer to each other. On the other hand, if your eyes are close-set, apply the contour precisely, while using a light hand to ensure edges are soft and well-blended. Also, by adding brightness to the triangular area between the brows and the nose root, you create contrast that defines the root while seamlessly connecting the forehead to the bridge. To finish, a soft touch of highlight at the inner corners of the eyes improves the contrast between light and shadow, creating a more prominent dimension. Next, let's move on to the nose bridge. The purpose of contouring this area is to make it appear more defined, taller, and slimmer, or to subtly adjust its width, depending on the look you're going for. If you have a narrower or taller nose bridge, fill in 2 parallel contour lines along the sides of the bridge, extending them down toward the tip. Keep the lines soft but defined. The shadow from the contour creates contrast and helps the center of the bridge look more raised, and the closer the lines are placed to the bridge, the slimmer your nose will appear. For a wider or lower nose bridge, you can start the shadows a little farther out from the center, or draw 2 lines that angle slightly inward, closer together at the top and wider apart toward the bottom. Another option is to shade both sides of the nose root and softly blend the shade outward. The key is not to go too narrow. Contour lines that are drawn too close together can make the nose look harsh or unnatural. When it comes to highlighting, you can adjust the width of the highlight depending on your nose shape. For a wider bridge, keep the highlight as a thin line, but make it just slightly thicker or wider. The most flattering placement is a slim, elongated highlight focused on the root and middle section of the bridge, rather than running all the way down. If your nose is on the longer side, avoid starting the highlight too high at the root, as this can make it appear even longer. Lastly, let's move on to contouring the nose tip. The aim here is to soften the look of a larger tip. Refine a rounded shape into something more delicate or pointed, and even adjust its direction. For example, correcting the appearance of a drooping tip. For shading the tip, there are 2 ways to refine its shape. You can make it appear smaller or refine a rounded shape by applying a U-shaped or V-shaped contour. Adding subtle shadows in a bracket shape along the sides of the nose tip also helps pull in the sides of the tip visually, making it look slimmer and more refined. Secondly, you can add a short contour just above the tip. This creates a subtle shadow below the nose bridge, making the tip look slightly lifted or upturned, while also giving the illusion of a shorter mid-face. On the other hand, Nose tip contouring works especially well for correcting a drooping nose tip. By deepening the shading just beneath the tip and blending out on both sides and extending it slightly upward along the tip, you can soften the downward pull and reduce the appearance of droopiness for a more balanced look. For highlighting the tip, if your nose proportion is longer, position the tip highlight slightly higher and shift the bridge highlight a bit lower. For shorter proportions, simply reverse this placement. To refine a round tip into a more pointed shape, apply highlight in a vertical oval or a small inverted triangle at the tip. These vertical shapes naturally guide the eyes up and down, creating the illusion of a slimmer, more defined nose. For short or upturned noses, use tip highlights sparingly or skip them altogether, as too much brightness can make the nose appear even shorter. If you choose to highlight, add only a tiny, precise touch to keep the balance. When it comes to contouring the nose wings, the goal is to refine their width and reduce any prominence so they appear slimmer and more balanced. Apply contour to the triangular area on the nose bridge to tone down the brightness along the sides of the nose. This helps visually minimize the width and makes the overall shape appear more refined and balanced. To complement this shading, add matte highlighter along the nasal base, the area where the wings meet the cheeks. By brightening this border, you create contrast that visually narrows the wings and enhances its definition. The key to nose contouring is observation. Before you start, take a good look at your nose and notice its natural shape. Is it on the wider or narrower side? Does the tip look rounded, flat, or slightly drooping? Are the wings broad, or is the bridge low, high or long, or short? By paying attention to these details, you can decide which techniques will enhance your features and which ones you don't really need. In this section, we'll go through different nose types, like upturned noses, droopy tips, uneven nose or flat bridges, fleshy noses, and hooked shapes, and show you how to define and balance each one with contouring techniques tailored to their unique features. For a fleshy or bulbous nose tip, usually marked by a wider alar that extends beyond the inner eye distance, avoid drawing the contour lines on the bridge and root too narrowly, as this can exaggerate the contrast between the slimmed bridge and the broader alar. Instead, space out the placement of your contour further from each other, and allow the matte highlighter area to be slightly wider for balance. Make sure the contour connecting the sides of the bridge to the alar is blended seamlessly so the transition looks natural. To visually slim the wings, apply matte highlighter around the alar to soften its natural shadows. Finally, add a precise, bracket-shaped contour on both sides of the tip to refine its shape and enhance definition. However, a bulbous nose can also be characterized by a larger, rounded tip rather than flared alar. In this case, the contour along the bridge should be placed a little wider to visually balance the weight of the tip. On the tip itself, apply an inverted bracket-shaped shadow to subtly shrink and refine the rounded shape. Then, use a matte highlighter to fill in an inverted triangle right on the tip. This brightens the area and gives the tip a lifted, more delicate look. For a low nose bridge, adding more definition at the root is key. Start the contour about 1/3 in from the brow head and blend it downward toward the level of the inner eye corner. This area should be slightly deepened to frame the bridge naturally. For an even sharper definition, concentrate the contour right into the root of the nose and place it precisely to maximize contrast against the highlight. Then, highlight along the natural groove of the inner eye socket. This not only brightens the root, but also smooths the transition between the eyes and the bridge. Then, lightly define the tip based on the size or shape of your tip. Highlight the bridge and the tip in sections. A hooked nose, also known as a Roman or Greek nose, is characterized by a bump along the bridge that gives it a distinctive profile. This type of nose often comes with a higher bridge or deeper root, so contour should be applied with a lighter touch, especially around the root area. To balance this shape, focus your matte highlighter above and below the bump rather than directly on it. Since the bump already projects outward, highlighting it would only emphasize the unevenness. By brightening the areas just above and beneath instead, you visually lift and smooth the bridge, creating a more seamless, refined look. Next is the upturned nose. Start by applying contour from the nose root, right around the brows, and blend it all the way down to the tip. To draw less attention to the lifted tip, slightly deepen the shadows above the nostrils. This helps balance the overall shape. It's best to skip matte highlighter in this case, as the upturned nose already has a naturally prominent tip. Adding too much highlight could exaggerate it and bring unnecessary focus to that area. For droopy noses, where the tip naturally points downward, a slightly different approach helps bring balance and lift. Begin by deepening the contour along the eye socket and nose bridge, extending it gently toward the inner corners of the eyes to add structure. Then, apply a soft horizontal contour at the base of the tip. This creates the illusion of a lifted nose. To complete the look, add matte highlighter on the nose root and the tip, placing it just a little higher than usual. This shifts the visual focus upward, creating a new highest point that makes the nose appear more lifted and refined. Lastly, a crooked or uneven nose is characterized by an off-center or slightly deviated shape, which can occur naturally or as a result of past injuries. For example, if your nose deviates toward the right, start by deepening the contour on the right side. Blend the shadow from the brow head down toward the tip, letting the direction of the contour gradually shift slightly to the left as it reaches the end. This helps visually balance the deviation. On the left side, apply the contour in separate sections. Shade the nose root from the brow area and blend it inward toward the inner corner. Then contour the tip by filling in a subtle C shape on the side. Finish by adding matte highlighter from the nose root down to the tip, following a gentle curved line that leans slightly left. This creates the visual illusion of symmetry and smooths out the unevenness of the bridge. Still unsure which nose shape you have? Don't worry. Just break it down part by part. You don't have to contour every area to make your nose look perfect. Sometimes the features you think are less ideal are actually what make your face beautifully unique. In the end, nose contouring isn't a one-size-fits-all formula. The goal is to apply shadows and highlights strategically and thoughtfully, blending them seamlessly so the result looks natural, refined, and true to your own beauty style. We hope this video was helpful for you. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye!